Do you like pretty chords? Stick around for this lesson about what I'm about to play. So what was that I just did? And what a lovely sound, right? And you know what's interesting about what I just did is it really was only 2 different chords through that whole thing, but they were in different inversions. And so what were these chords and why do they sound so nice? These are what we would call tetrachords, basically. There's 4 notes groupings that not necessarily your typical like 7th chord or something like that where it's all built in thirds. So this particular tetrachord is the really famous 1, 2, 3, 5, and then really it's inversions. And then what I did was go from the B flat major tetrachord sound to the F as well. So it's really just your F to or F to B flat kind of sound, right? So really going to kind of get like, I'm going to try to give you stuff for maybe like sort of like 3 or 4 ideas, lessony things within this little piece that I did that I'm sort of going to highlight. So first you have the tetrachord. So this is the first inversion. So B flat, D, F, C. And then you go to the next inversion, which is C, F, B flat, D. All right, and then D, B flat, C, F. And then F, C, D, B flat. And then you do the same thing for F. Right, so those are nice. So that's one aspect of it. So these are nice voicings to get under your fingers. You could use them in place of pretty much any major sound. You know, if you were doing something like a 2-5-1, something like that maybe. You could use it as a substitution. There's also, you know, you could do more of a spread voicing with it and kind of get similar ideas. Actually, that wasn't quite it, but it would be this. It would be that version of it. So then, anyway, I'm kind of highlighting that. So that's one aspect of what I just did. The other aspect is when you're playing chords, a lot of times it's really, we tend to think like, I should play this voicing or whatever. I'm going to play major 7th, you know, or something like that, or a minor 7th. And we tend to think like this, or maybe we go, right? But this is the idea of like breaking up the way you play that chord. So you might, it seems simple, but it actually adds quite a bit of variety to the sound. So instead of this being like, which is kind of nice, but it's also, we've heard that sound before. Or if I went, or something like, maybe not the, we've all heard that. So I think it's just a nice thing to try and get under your fingers, just breaking up chords. And so this time I'm doing the outside two notes and then the inside. But you can do that with any chords. Or, pick three notes and then play one. That's kind of nice. Or one note and then pick three. So even if you were doing like a 2-5-1, it just adds a bit of movement to the flow of it. It's much easier on piano where you kind of do it naturally. Guitar, you have to kind of think about how you're going to do it, because there's things like hybrid picking that you might have to use, or if you're just using a pick, a lot of times with a pick, you're sort of limited to what you can do. So I do recommend getting hybrid picking under your fingers. And just by doing that, you can get more sounds under you. So, and then one other thing, or is it just one other? I gotta think about this. One other thing I definitely want to talk about too is just the idea that when you have a repetitive thing happening, I feel like dynamically something has to happen. So maybe you didn't notice it at first, but I think you noticed. It's like if you have a repeating pattern, something has to happen to the volume. It shouldn't all be the same volume. It's like it adds some movement to it. Right, you gotta pull people in. Mind the noise as the dogs are walking around. And so since this is so repetitive, it would be, if I played it all the same volume, it really takes something away from it, I think. So this is just the idea that if you have some kind of repetitive note structure or whatever, there should be something happening dynamically. That pulls people in and out. Kind of like when we speak, we don't always speak at the same volume. Some words we give extra emphasis to, so you could accent something, but also just the flow of something as you build up. You want to build it up or bring it in. Sometimes the most simple, bringing it quieter actually is like how you really pull people in, because they kind of have to go do this and supposed to do that. And one other thing that you can't notice it as much on this guitar, or really electric guitar, or a lot of times it's just the different colors. When you're doing this, is like, where are you playing here to get different colors? This sounds different. Probably really can't hear it on a speakerphone thing. Anyway, those are my quick little tips. Sorry the video is not more well edited and all that, but hopefully you get something out of this. And try these chords out. They're really nice. As you can tell, they're very pretty. And they sound, just kind of interesting sounding. And they're not so like in your face, like weird chords, right? They just sound pretty and nice. So try them out. Hope you like it. Later.